Okay, I'm going to show you now how to set up a few extra animations, well, just really the jump one, because you can see when we press play here and we jump, it still goes into our run animation. And we want to have it so when we jump, he goes into a different animation or just one frame, and when he lands he goes back into his idle unless he's going left or right. So the first thing that we want to do is we just want to find our sprites again for a character, and I'm going to pick one here for our jump, and I'll probably go for this one here. So yeah, sprite 47. So I'm going to right click that, create a flipbook, and I'm just going to jump underscore flip. And that's it for the jump animation. I'm not going to do anything else with that. So I'm going to go into our blueprints and I'm going to go into our character. Now there's going to be a few things that we're going to have to do outside of this blueprint to get it work, but here in our handle animation, I think I discussed it before, where we basically have this part of the function that's checking out what the velocity is, okay, and it's comparing it to 0. So is it greater than 0? If that's true, you know, we're going to play our run flipbook. If that's false, so if it's idle, okay, we're going to play our idle flipbook. But it isn't really letting us choose anything else on top of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to create what's called an advanced asset, okay, and this one is called Enumeration, and you'll find it under the blueprints. So Enumeration is kind of like a list, okay, so we're going to just call this an animation underscore enum and open that up, and you'll see that in our list we don't have anything, but we're going to create something new. We're going to call this our idle, another new one, and we'll call this our run, another new one, and we'll call this our jump. So I'm just going to list out all the animations that we need, and I might have another one just called shoot, because later on I'll be showing you how to shoot out projectiles. So then what we want to do is, in this handle animation function, is we're going to right click and we're going to make a switch, okay, and it's going to be switch on animation enum. So that's the enum that we've just made, and the blueprints kind of go through our project files and it knows exactly what we've made or not. So it knows that we have this animation enum. So if I type in switch on, you'll see that we have all these here. So I can manually switch these, okay, so I can manually switch that and then it would come out of the run one, or if I manually switch this jump one, it would then start coming out of this one and the others wouldn't be working. So I'm just going to connect this up for now, and I'm going to pipe our idle and our run into this flipbook, and the reason I'm doing that is because this here select is handling both these, so these can go into the same one. Maybe down the line we might change that, and I'm just going to move these, kind of make it more compact. Because I will be putting in new information below that, such as our jump and our shoot. Now what we should have here is a variable, okay, which we can change elsewhere in our blueprint. So instead of, you know, manually changing this variable will handle all the changes for this selection. So over on the left hand side again, we're going to create another variable. We'll call this animations select, and the type of it is going to be a animation enum. So again, it knows that we've created this animation enum, so we can choose that as our variable type. So I'm going to plug that in, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to go there. So at the minute this isn't set to anything, okay? Doesn't matter right now, but what we want to do is we want to start making some more set flipbooks, one for our jump, and then later on in the series we'll do one for our shoot. So I'm just going to type in set flipbook. You can see it's under sprite. I'm going to plug my jump in there, and then under new flipbook I'm just going to find my jump flip. Just going to compile and save that for now, just in case any crashes happen. So when are we going to activate this jump? Okay. Well, down here we've got another few functions here that are handling our jump. So we've got an input action jump. Okay, when that's pressed, it's going to jump, and when it's released, it will stop jumping. And the same as we've got any like touch input, it will do the same. What we do need is an on landed function, okay, which Unreal has. So if I type in on landed, we'll see that we create an event on landed. So what we want to have happen here is input action jump. So when we're jumping, okay, I want to start setting this animation select to the jump one. So if I pull this over and I set it, I can set this to jump. So I'm setting this animations select variable to jump. So that means whenever we jump now, this is set to jump, which means that this here variable that's plugged into this switch is set to jump, which means that this is going to run out to this flipbook, and the idle and run, it won't happen for those anymore. And just to make sure that it is going to call in this update animation, it is doing it every frame over here with the event tick, but just in case it isn't, I'm just going to type on update animation. So it's just going to call this function, okay, and just make sure that it is going to update. What I can do then is copy and paste these down here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug the event on landed in here, and when it lands it's going to go into idle. Okay, compile and save that. So I'm going to press play now and see if that works. It does. There is going to be an issue. Well, it actually is working, but oh, that's right, it's switching between the idle and the run through this switch over here. So that's basically how we can add in a jump animation, or we can add in like an idle one when it lands, or we could have changed that idle one so it's kind of like compressing a bit, kind of adding in that squash and stretch effect.